What's up? Hey, hey! Welcome to THNDRversity.
Welcome.
We are your lecturers.
Yeah. Suddenly we became lecturers, huh?
I know, right? And this is the only Bitcoin educational institute that has a professor who's a cat.
Meow.
so,
Welcome, guys. Meow, meow, meow.
meow. Let's quickly introduce ourselves. My name is Mary, and I'm the esports and operations support at Thunder Games. Woohoo! Your turn, Koty. Koty's
I
typing
am
with
sorry. I
like
was sharing
anger.
the link. Yeah. My name is Koty Auditore. I'm the CM, or honestly, I'm the ones who makes memes and so on of Thunder and just chill around and tries to keep all the family together and like you know make life easier for everyone as much as I can. And yeah, well, now we're here. Like we want to not only teach or as a lecturer, but also like let's learn Bitcoin together for real.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's what we're gonna do.
Yes, let's go. And this is the first time we're hosting this, so please let us know in the comments your thoughts. We'd love to hear your feedback as well. And join the Thunder Discord where we can carry on discussions from the that we're gonna have in the Thunderversity.
Yep.
I love how Koti is typing. He is like typing with so much anger and fury.
No, the thing is like my mic is so close to the. Sorry, guys. My mic is so close to the mic. I'm gonna explain why, because I have a Linux installed in my laptop,
Mhm.
and not gonna lie, I'm not the most savvy Linux user, so I'm still having problems to really use the mic from the laptop. So I'm using the my phone, and it's right here, and I got like one of these RGB keyboards, and I just do this. Look, listen, and it seems like I'm raging against the keyboard, but no, I'm I'm
That is
typing
normal
softly.
typing.
Yeah,
That's soft? Oh no.
that's for a cat. Yeah.
Yeah, for a cat. Oh my gosh. I'm just imagining Koti like this. All right. So today we are starting off with lesson one, introduction to Bitcoin, and we'll be using the material we have on our in Discord in the Thunderversity channel. So make sure you follow us on, join our Discord. I said follow us. Join our Discord.
Yeah,
Um,
it's sort of the same, to be honest.
oh my gosh. So join our Discord. Maybe we'll find a way to drop the link somewhere. Since it's the beginning, there'll be some things, right? So I'm gonna drop the link to our Discord
Yeah, yeah,
somewhere.
we were working on improving and so on.
Yeah, so make sure you join our Discord. I think it's must be discord.com the slash
Uh,
thunder.
to make it, yeah, discord.gg/thunder. No
Discord
vowels.
dot gg/thunder. That's thunder is spelled THNDR. That's the way
Yeah,
we spell thunder. Every other spelling is wrong.
it's wrong. The dictionary is wrong, actually.
So wrong. All right, so let's dive in. I'm gonna quickly pull up the material here. Just give me a second. That's enough time for you guys to hop on to our Discord. Give me a second. I'm looking for Discord. I have 100 tabs open and I
Yeah.
can't find Discord. Oh my gosh, where's my Discord? There we go. I found it. Okay. So here we go. All right. So this is the THNDRversity channel on Discord. As you can see, we have other channels. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to read the material here and then just pause for discussions. Feel free to discuss with us in the comments. We'll be checking the comments. We're live on Twitter, Noster, and YouTube. So just I'll be checking all the comments there. So feel free to write your comments, ask questions. We'll be happy to answer all your questions. So let's get started. First of all, I want to tell you that Koty did a great job with arranging this and he put all the content in here. So Koty, huge shout out to you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So here we
Appreciate
go.
it.
Introduction. What is Bitcoin? I'm going to read it and then we'll just discuss, okay? Guys, here goes.
Yep.
What is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is the decentralized peer-to-peer payment network powered by individual users without a central authority or intermediaries. I'm going to read it again. Bitcoin is the decentralized peer-to-peer payment network powered by individual users without a central authority or intermediaries. And Bitcoin is native money of the internet. I think the second definition is super easy because it is true. But yeah, like I, whenever someone says what is Bitcoin, I don't know, is it the same thing with you too, Koty? Like sometimes I struggle with trying to find that perfect definition of Bitcoin. But I think the definition you put here is really simple. There's some elements here that you need to take note of. Decentralized, and what decentralized means is that it is not controlled by anybody. It's not controlled by the government. It's not controlled by any institution or agency. It's not controlled by a human being or anybody at all. Like
Yeah.
decentralized, not centralized. And then peer-to-peer payment network. What peer-to-peer means is that you are the Bitcoin network involves of like when payment happens, it happens from one person to another. There's nobody in the middle, right? Peer-to-peer network. So if I send Bitcoin to Koty, there's nobody in between, right? When you're sending Bitcoin, it goes straight to Koty. Like our payment systems are such that when you make a payment with your bank, like to someone using their bank account, let's say if Koty gives me his bank account and I send him some money, what happens is I have to use my bank, and then my bank will now send the money to Koty's bank, and then Koty will get an alert that he received money. So what we have now is that we have intermediaries, and in this transaction, we have two banks, my bank and Koty's bank. But with Bitcoin, all the intermediaries are gone. It's just the transactions are just between myself and Koty. Then it says powered by individual users without a central authority or intermediaries, which I've already explained. But Koty, why would you say Bitcoin is the native money of the internet?
Yeah, this last line came to me after I was reading. When we dig into the rabbit hole on Twitter and everywhere and in all forums and so on, we get to come across so many articles that sometimes you forget where did you read something. But I remember that there were like some people talking about that Bitcoin is the money layer of the internet. Like, because TCP/IP is like the protocol itself, and there are other layers built upon, like to improve the TCP/IP protocol, which is the internet, and that has been built upon on it. And then something that was always missing is an actual layer for monetary transaction, or like to avoid spam, like, because when in the real world you have everything has a cost. You can see it like money or not money, it doesn't matter. It's a cost in time, a cost in effort, a cost in, I don't know, in will to do stuff. So in the internet was everything was great for like transacting or like sending information, downloading, let's say sharing info. But there was no like a mechanism to do actual monetary transactions to connect the internet with the real world, or like interconnect in a more proper sense. So sadly, because of that, we had a more centralized internet, and we always felt that the internet gives so many advantages and so many options to study and learn and even to work, but there is not a money layer in it. There is no money in it, like a proper thing inside that you will use as a currency, or as a token
Hmm.
in the sense of something you give for to exchange for a good or service inside, but only our fiat currency is digitized, which is not actually part of the internet, just APIs and other stuff that has been built to interconnect some areas in the internet or some functions, but not a proper thing that can live in it. So that's the reason that now, as we see Bitcoin, how it behaves, that is like decentralized, a peer-to-peer uh, payment network, that you don't need an authority to send money, not only from person to person, but even like from computer to computer. Imagine like
Oh yeah.
like the AI stuff, or like just an API trying to connect with another API. You can set it with some money to do some regular payments per month or stuff like that. They like this peer will connect to this peer, which are could be machines. They don't necessarily have to be intelligent. They can be just be machines or bots
Hmm.
that can pay with Bitcoin across the internet. So when you realize this potential, I still believe there is some more potential for Bitcoin, way too much besides the price itself, but the very same fact that you can transact without asking for someone else for permission to do so, which is very important to me in my case, because I come from a place that even like to get dollars, you had to, well, I don't live there anymore, but when I was there, to get dollars, you had to ask the government for permission
What?
to, yeah, to use your own money or your own currency to get dollars to only for traveling,
Wow.
and a certain amount. And that was a disaster. So you can imagine what happened later and what we have today. Now we have a quote unquote dollarized economy without actually being dollarized. So it's way worse.
Oh
But it's
my
better
god.
than that system we had back then. So
That's
now,
crazy. That means the government is literally surveilling how much money is going out because
exactly.
you
So
have to
now
ask
you
for
don't,
permission.
uh-huh. And that's what makes Bitcoin the native money of the internet, because it's there. It's like literally you can just create anything in the internet. You don't need to even ask for permission to use the Bitcoin software and use it as a currency
Hmm. Oh
and
my
put it
gosh.
there.
Okay, so I have a question and I'm curious to hear what your perspective is, right?
Hmm.
So people see Bitcoin as digital currency, which it actually is. Then, with the definition where it says Bitcoin is the native money of the internet, wouldn't people argue and say that how about Ethereum? Ethereum is also
Yeah.
digital and it's also on the internet. Does it mean that Ethereum is Bitcoin?
No.
Of course, no. We know it's a no. It's a big no.
Yeah, it's a big no, but why? I mean,
How would you explain that?
in my case, the problem, even more than the pre-mine and all this stuff and all that, altcoiners, which I always call shitcoiners, and they're gonna be always shitcoiners. It's they like to, you know, not to forget or to put aside, but it's even worse to justify the fact that Ethereum, it's malleable. Like its economic policies, monetary policies, not the code. And we know the DAO hack and all this stuff, all these dramas regarding coding itself, but not only the coding part, but the the monetary policy that makes it malleable, like elastic. If whoever studied economics in college or something like that, elastic policy in economics is basically a system which we live right now, where a group of people decide how much is the stock of money that are circulating in any given group, society, DAO, chat, whatever
Mm-hmm.
country. So Bitcoin has a hard cap. Ethereum has a soft one.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they wanted to say it's ultrasound money, and the very same fact they changed the monetary policies like many times.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they're gonna do it again and again and again when it's needed. Same thing as a central bank. So they're literally replicating central banking, but
Mm-hmm.
instead of one node is many nodes, but not as many as Bitcoin. But
Exactly.
sadly, for in the sense of freedom of people of doing and acting on their free will,
Mm-hmm.
the Ethereum path is centralization.
Exactly.
To
And it's
yeah, so
sad. It's sad because now like you said, it's bringing back the system that we're trying to escape from.
yeah,
uh because there's this example I always give, um just to show the what centralization and like decentralization does. Like, say for example, we have Ethereum, and what was the name of the guy behind Ethereum? Vitalik. If Vitalik
yeah,
says
one of them.
so if,
the, the
if
most the most famous one, yeah,
yeah, he's the
Vitalik.
most famous one. But if Vitalik says, "I'm done. Ethereum's boring. I don't want to go into Ethereum anymore," um, imagine what would happen to Ethereum. Ethereum would just go to zero because
Yeah,
everything is like
collapse.
resting on him. But if the most popular person in Bitcoin says, "I'm not doing Bitcoin anymore," that's not enough to move like Bitcoin. That's not enough to make Bitcoin crumble, because that's just one person out of millions of people who own Bitcoin and are transacting with Bitcoin. Like, if today I say I'm not into Bitcoin anymore, like that's not going to shake anything. It's not going to be the end of Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is existing irrespective of me being a part of it. So whether I'm a part of Bitcoin, whether I use Bitcoin or not, it will continue to exist. It doesn't need me or anybody else to survive, and it just works.
Yeah, and also already happened. I mean, Satoshi was the creator and he disappeared.
Yeah, exactly. We don't
And
know if it's
good.
a he though. It could be a they. It could be many people.
To me, it's a he. To me, to me, he's a. I don't know why I imagine him a British guy in his 40s. Maybe either living in London or something like that.
Oh man.
Um, I don't know. Maybe because London is like one of the major center of like finance in the world, besides New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are like really involved in this kind of stuff, like high finance and this like being close to, I think he was someone very important or something like that.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a way of redeeming himself or herself or themselves, whatever.
Well.
Also, I believe that it was a he, or at least an individual. If it was a
Mhm.
she, fine, but an individual, because I have the feeling or
Mhm.
the idea that an individual is, let's say, is smarter than the crowd. It's
Mhm.
smarter than a crowd. And a team would have too many, maybe conflict of interest
Mhm.
to let that happen. To even drop that email in 2008.
Yeah.
So that's why it has to be someone, like one person, which is crazy. I mean, we can see, I don't know, the second coming of Christ or whatever you want to look at it. Either
I'm
very mystical
I'm
or
just
pure
I'm
luck.
just glad. I'm just glad that whoever Satoshi is came up with Bitcoin and then disappeared.
Yeah, yeah,
Um
that's
it
the best thing
it
to.
just yeah, it just makes I think it just makes Bitcoin even more secure in a way because
Mhm.
I don't have to worry about someone showing up. Do you Anyway, let me not go into that topic now so that we don't
We can
veer
keep it
off of
later. Yeah.
introduction.
Mary. Also, like we have to. This is also to me as well. Like
Mhm.
we let's try to keep this as an
Yeah,
introduction
I know.
for people who are new. So please, people who if there is someone who's like really new, don't freak out.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
don't freak
lower
out.
it down a little bit.
Don't freak out.
Um, I have a question before we continue reading. It's not that long, this text anyway.
Yeah.
Um, how was the first time or that you got to know Bitcoin, that you really sat down and like not only if you transacted with it or like how did you understand it when you got to understand or at
Ah,
least grasp it?
that's a good question. So I would say it was a series of events. So and the thing that for me that kickstarted that curiosity was sometime in like 2008/2009. So
Mm-hmm.
it was my first like official job out of university. And I closed from work and I was just thinking because at that point I was trying to save money, I was trying to invest in like stocks and all these other stuff to try and um sort of build my income or my net worth, right? I was trying
Mm-hmm.
to be financially responsible. So I was just
Yeah.
walking home and I was thinking, I was like, and I was a huge like interest rate nerd. So I was like, what's the interest rate in that the bank gives me today? And as at that time, the interest rate from my bank was 2%. And then I was like, wow, 2% interest rate. And then I think inflation was in, I don't know, maybe 15% or so in Nigeria. I'm based in Nigeria, by the way, guys. So I think it was around 15% inflation. And then the bank is giving me 2% interest rate at the end of the year. And I was just thinking, I was like, wow, so
Mm.
if I save like 1,000 naira every month, by the end of the month, I'm meant to have 12,000 naira. But then I thought every month my bank charges me for card transaction fees, card maintenance fees. So even if I don't use my ATM card, they'll still charge me for card maintenance. They'll
Carmen.
charge me. Yeah, it's really crazy. They will charge me for account maintenance. So even if I'm not doing
Yeah.
anything with my bank account, I'm just putting money in there. They'll charge me for account maintenance. They do this quarterly charge as well. They also charge me for SMS. So like every time they send me like, oh, you have this amount of money in your bank account, they charge for that. And I was like, these banks charge me every month, but they only give me interest at the end of the year. So
Mm.
that means that if even though I'm expecting to have 12,000 naira in my bank account by the end of the year, it won't be 12,000 because in within the 12 months the bank is going to keep taking charges and charges and charges. And I was
Plus
like,
inflation.
yo, exactly. And I was like, yo, that means that by the time I get to my 12th month, I might have maybe 10,000 naira or maybe 9,000 or maybe even 8,000 if I'm lucky, as my savings. And 2% of 8,000 is literally nothing. So and then I was like, okay, when I withdraw that money from my bank account, my money is going to face 15% inflation rate, and only God knows what the percentage of inflation rate will be at the end of 12 months. This is a whole conversation, that I was having in my head. And I was like, oh my gosh, saving in the bank will not help me. So that was the first realization that came to me. So ever since then, I've been searching for something that would increase in value over time. I thought it was stocks, but it wasn't, because stocks traditionally it gives you 7% interest or rate of return, right? So it wasn't stocks. It still wasn't enough to counteract the inflation in Nigeria. It wasn't bonds. It wasn't all these other investment things. And I was like, what else is there? And that gradually got me to start thinking, oh, maybe I should look into Bitcoin. But that's just one out of several things. So every time like I would always remember that conversation I had in my head. And that's when I finally became a Bitcoin maxi, that's when all those conversations I had in my head several years ago clicked. Because I don't know if you saw some tweets where some people were saying the value of the dollar has decreased in the past several years, right? So people started showing, like, tweeting like the how much the value of the dollar, euro, pounds dropped. I
Yeah.
think the value of dollar dropped like 96%, whereas the value of Bitcoin increased by 200% since its creation. So that's just proof that it's so much better
200.
to. Yeah, I mean that's what someone wrote. I didn't do the math. I'm terrible at math.
Mm.
I'm terrible at math. But that's what someone
No,
put
no.
out there on Twitter. And so I'm like, yo, Bitcoin, it makes so much sense. At least if you're the kind of person that likes to save, Bitcoin makes so much sense when it comes to saving. And then when I became a maxi, I started using Bitcoin for other things like buying things and sending sats and stuff like that. How about for you? What was it like for you?
Well, the thing is, I was a nerd on many topics.
Mm-hmm.
So always about history and economics and this kind of stuff was like a natural thing for me to always look and read about it. But maybe I was not a genius because even though I was a nerd, like since a very young age, let's say I didn't have like the capacity to actually understand the grand scheme of politics and so on, and what's the actual weight of central banking in a society, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I understood that there was a problem with inflation. Always, also like my Venezuelan experience, which was extremely drastic in modern times. It's like what happened in, let's say, people, many intellectuals talk about Weimar Germany, for example. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I lived through that, and it's terrible. So I got to know about Bitcoin when it was launched, like I was in high school. But
Oh
it's like,
wow, that's cool.
yeah,
You're lucky.
because of a friend of mine. It wasn't because of me, but a friend of mine came and he was like, "Do you know there is like a coin that we can mine with computers and get some dollars with it, you know?"
Mm-hmm.
And I tried to mine some, but let's say my interest was not that high to actually put myself to mine from. I mean, I would have been like like a team millionaire, something like that. But it didn't happen that way. But at least I got to know that there
Mm-hmm.
was something there. So it was always like, in the back of your mind, but it's actually like a topic. You okay? I got to know. Then when things got really bad in Venezuela with all the problems I'm not gonna mention because it's too long, but hyperinflation as a phenomenon for us. Well, I decided to leave the country on my own, alone, and with debts and I mean, I had to take a loan so for with a person outside to pay
Mm-hmm.
for a ticket, work, and pay it back. And I started like a whole process of a personal journey in actually many countries, trying to make a life for me and make some money and try to. I don't know. I felt that like a movie, to be honest. I think I can write a book even with that.
You
But
should. You should
because
write a
I
book,
left, I
The
was
Journey of
very, very
Koty.
young. I mean, when now when you get older, like, how did I do all that? I mean, when you're in a situation, you're so pressed by external forces. You're like, you don't even think. You're like in survival mode.
Yeah.
Like I have to get in a better situation. So also in the middle of that, because of I was traveling, I was here and there, and many jobs and many, many, many stuff happening at the same time. Let's say my attention was broken. It was too little
Mm-hmm.
to actually find the time to sit down and read. So that's why I also understand why most, let's say, like common people. I say common people like are not into Bitcoin or into very intellectual stuff, because I mean it's kind of boring when you go into very technical or like philosophical. If you say that you enjoy, like, oh, like you go to a party or a nice dinner, come on. But it's but I didn't have that time there. But I also got to know, like, always, like, okay, Bitcoin is like going up and down, like shit. I didn't understand. So then my one of my destinations when I spent most of the time was Dubai, like in the Emirates, and I worked there as a waiter. So when the COVID lockdown happened, probably that was like it's weird because we were locked down, and some people say that no, Dubai was never closed. BS. That place was like the most fascist, closed down in your stay there in your apartment, like a pod. So I was there like, okay, cannot even go out of my apartment, like literally, like for a week. And then
No.
I was like, okay, let's read something and try to make some money somehow.
Mm-hmm.
and then and then I started, like, I remember I created a Twitter account. I've always been interested into Stoicism and this kind of school of philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
So I had an account. My Twitter account was not Koty Auditory. It's the same account but with a different handle. It was
Oh.
called Another Stoic. That was the original name of
Mm-hmm.
Koty Auditory now. So I was like looking for like Stoic accounts and authors and stuff like that, like to find some internal strength in a practical sense
Mm-hmm.
for what was going on uh, to all of us. But I mean, of course, I live my own experience. So I came across Twitter an article that says something about what's better, gold or Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
When I read that article about what was better than gold or Bitcoin, and I understood, I got to read about the decentralization, and there was a phrase, something like that says that the fact that Bitcoin is like running in many different computers, and
Mm-hmm.
each computer has the same copy over and over again, and they're all like whispering to each other what's going on, like they're keeping the Bitcoin ledger.
Mm-hmm.
So if a government, like a draconian government, comes and destroy 99% of them, and there is one copy left or like one node running, is still there. Like it will still be alive, and if you rejoin the network, it will continue, showing the transactions that happen and so on. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, there's something here. And then I
Mm-hmm.
started reading more about, like the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And I read about like deflation, and basically I understood that the capacity of saving it's inexistent in this system. Like, because no matter if you save, I mean, like, what you receive, fiat money is like a government coupon to get stuff that they owe you to get.
I've never heard it described that way before. Government
Yeah, that's
coupon?
that's what fiat money is. Fiat currency is. It's a government coupon
Mm-hmm.
because it's literally based on a signature of a central bank director,
Yeah.
depending on the coupon years of issuance. So, but they are all the same. Like, the value is depends too much on relies too much on people you don't even like. I mean, come on. Most of the countries are like managing. It seems that there is like a plan or something like to destroy everyone's economies, because I don't conceive how can you look for actual welfare having
Mm-hmm.
almost everybody poor,
Yeah.
or like making them poor.
At the same
So
time.
at the same time, yeah. So
Yeah.
okay, give me a break. Come on. I think they kind of hate us or they want to control us. So when I saw the potential of Bitcoin of being sovereign, like the case with the, as long as you have the seeds, the
Mm-hmm.
words that protect your access to the Bitcoin you have, I mean, you have access to,
Mm-hmm.
you can transact as easy as you can as long as you have those words.
Yeah. True.
So that's such a big, like, it's powerful. Like, even that's what makes Bitcoin even better than gold. No
I
matter what
agree.
people or gold bugs can say, is like, man. I mean, in the worst case scenario, you're in Venezuela or in Cuba or in a war torn country, and you're literally living and passing, and you remember, you create a song or whatever, or a poem to remember all the words by heart, and you cross the border.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, in these places in the world, the not pampered third world country, some people say global south. No, it's not global south. It's in these forsaken lands where we have these kind of policies.
Oh
Having
my
that
gosh.
ability to cross a border and leave, and they cannot take your cash or take out your gold chains or anything you're taking with you to start a new life somewhere else. It feels like a superpower. It is a superpower
Mm-hmm.
right now. I hope that one day it won't be a superpower. It would be the norm. It will be like what's normal.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
Well,
please.
that's why we are here. That's why we're doing THNDRversity so that more people get to know about Bitcoin.
Yeah, so let's say there is, in my case, there was some background. I also studied in college, like social sciences, which social sciences, sorry, but they are not sciences. They're just studies. Or it's more like a practice to control population, to be honest. I study sociology.
Oh my gosh. Koty chose
And
violence today, guys.
I chose violence. And let me tell you, people, whoever is listening, if you see a sociologist, politologist, any kind of
Apologies.
ologist which is into the social sciences, don't even listen to them. Ignore them. They
Ouch.
It's not that they don't know, they know. And they know stuff to control population. So do your life, work for yourself, for your family, for the ones you love, not the ones you think you love, no, for the ones you love, actually you love and care about, and do your life.
Yeah.
We
And buy
all,
Bitcoin.
yeah, and buy Bitcoin, get Bitcoin, study Bitcoin, share Bitcoin, teach Bitcoin.
Yep. And be part of THNDRversity.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah. No rush. Like, this is the only school where we won't shout at you for missing classes.
Yeah, no, chill out. Except in the seminars. In the seminars, I think I'll shout to myself to keep myself in track.
All right, let's go to the next item we have here in THNDRversity. What is a satoshi? So satoshis are the smallest unit of the Bitcoin. I don't want to say that word. Beep.
Yeah, I had to add that because I'm like catering to newcomers. So I know that people new to Bitcoin and so on, they always hear about crypto.
Hmm.
So in this way, I want to get them like, okay, look, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency stuff, and later on in the down the road, they're gonna say like, it's Bitcoin or crypto, so it's fine.
Okay,
No
okay.
worries,
So
no worries. I
I'm
did it
gonna
on
read it.
purpose. It's fine.
I'm gonna read it. It was Koty that
I'm
wrote
making
this, guys.
myself dirty
It's
for you.
Koty that wrote this, guys. It's not me. I'm just reading. Don't shoot the messenger.
Shoot me.
Yeah, he has 9 lives, so he'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have like seven, or I lost two.
What happened with the other two? Okay, I'll ask it after.
That's another story.
Okay, so satoshis are the smallest unit of the Bitcoin cryptocurrency. One satoshi is equals to 0.000000001 BTC. I hope I didn't miss any zeros. That is 100 millionth of a Bitcoin. This unit is named after the creator of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshis, also known as sats, are used to represent the amount of Bitcoin in a transaction. For example, if a transaction sends 20, that's 0.000021 Bitcoin, it sends 21 sats. The use of sats allows for more precise representation of Bitcoin amounts, as the BTC unit can be divided into much larger number of sats. Sats are commonly used to represent small amounts of Bitcoin, such as fees or microtransactions. They are also used to represent the balance of a Bitcoin wallet and to specify the amount of Bitcoin to be sent in a transaction. Sats are to a Bitcoin what cents are to a dollar. It's the same thing. It's just that Bitcoin is one whole coin and sats are the fractions of a coin. There are 100 million sats in one Bitcoin. Yeah, and yes, it's real money. I love the
Exactly.
ending.
Period.
Period. So when I saw, like, in my early days, my journey in Bitcoin, when I saw 0.0000, I was like, yo, what is this, bro?
Yeah.
It's
Too
so
many zeros. And
confusing.
yes,
Um, but
I
things
have a
are,
tip. I
yeah,
have a tip for these zeros.
okay.
Um, the 100 millionth of a Bitcoin of it's 8 decimal points. So you just have to remember 8 zeros.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's 8 zeros. So one sat is 7 zeros and one sat, and a one. 11 sats would be
Oh,
6 zeros and two ones, and so on.
got it.
But
I never
still, it's
sat
confusing.
down.
So
I never sat down to
uh,
count the zeros.
yeah. So why counting the zeros? Let's just have the sats, or like just real numbers, please.
I know, right? It's a lot easier. But it's
Yeah.
fun. I like, so there's this benchmark I have in my head. 5,000 sats is $1. I mean, I use that as an estimation. So when I see like a certain number of sats, I'll just be like, okay, divided by 5,000. Uh, Makes you like think of it in dollar form if that's how you think about
Mm.
Bitcoin. There's this
Mm.
thing though that people are some people are advocating for, that we should focus on sats instead of like Bitcoin. Have you seen that? Like, we try to look at things from sats values, like trying to make people get used to satoshis.
I'm one of them.
I'm talking to one. Okay, okay, why
Yeah.
is that? What's your reason for that?
Well, You mean like to have 20, like 21 quadrillion sats as total? And the thing is, um, having fractions or having cents makes little sense. I mean, people like tangible stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
real numbers or like natural numbers, just a one and not a 0.1. People don't like desires. People like to have them, like what they desire, they want to have them or they want to see it like as easy as possible. So the thing with the SAT is most of transactions in Bitcoin happen is like they are all decimal points uh,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time. And even if they say that there are integers and it's like there are not actual decimals, for the sake of counting, we will have these 0.00001, or we prefer to just have 1 unit of something and pay with that. Of course, you prefer
Yeah.
to have 1 unit of something. And you go for either if it's a coffee, as I say, like I want to pay coffee with Bitcoin, or just buying something expensive or mildly expensive, like TV. Let's say
Mm-hmm.
it's easier for you if you think of in dollars, maybe $300 or something, or $600. Where with inflation it would be like $2,000, but it's something like that. And when you're thinking like, no, that's 1 Bitcoin, you're like, oh, and then the unit itself, it feels weird. You feel lost with the, like, because 1 Bitcoin before was cents, actually it was even nothing, but now 1 Bitcoin
Yeah.
is around 26,000. So it's like you don't have a grasp of how many things you can actually buy.
Mm-hmm.
But with smaller or like units per se, you're like, okay, maybe if you have a store and you're gonna sell uh, food,
Yeah.
and you say, okay, this, I don't know, taquito cost 40 sets or 40 stuff of something. It's
Mm-hmm.
easier to grasp in your mind than, okay, these cost 0.0000004.
Oh my gosh, that sounds crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, it's more like for the natural stuff. For
Mm-hmm.
the
I think also
nerds,
another great thing about there being stats.
sorry?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, for
Go
the
ahead,
nerds or
Koty.
for the savvy or for the ones who wants to be very hardcore into like tech stuff, yeah, maybe they will try to have a setback in even naming sats and go into bits or stuff like that.
Oh my
But
gosh, that's on another level.
yeah, that's another level. But it doesn't even make sense when I think like I'm chilling in the street and I'm thinking of bits of what stuff like that. Just give me whatever. I'm gonna name it as people are like using it, and it's a
Mm-hmm.
unit. So let's use this. So the very same fact that people are not transacting in 1 Bitcoin or 10 Bitcoins now makes it a necessity to name somehow the fractions of Bitcoin and not see them as much as fractions, but units
Yeah.
itself that already exist.
I also like the fact that because Bitcoin can be broken down into sats, like it is possible for rewards, right? Like you can calibrate
Yeah.
fees, you can give like as much as like the least you can give, right? If you can, it's possible for you to maybe tip someone 100 sats, right? Like
Mm.
then for you to tip, how would you tip 0.002 cents? Doesn't make sense. Like it's literally impossible. But with Bitcoin, like you can tip really, you can send a low amount, which is nice. I think it's better than not getting anything, right? Like it just makes it so much easier. Um, so think of it like this: if you were to do a transaction via Lightning, right? The lightning fees are like really minimal, little or none. How would you calibrate that in cents? And it will literally be impossible to send that precise small amount to you. But when it's calibrated in sats, right, it's a lot easier. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm not explaining it right though, but
Yeah, I mean, it's actually uh it's easier for people to start understanding, like thinking in dollars fine, and get a sense of, okay, this much dollars or this much price dollars into Bitcoin is this much Bitcoin. But also, like, you can see it as when you go to a different country or place, and you exchange money or currencies, like you get this much of something, of this much of this currency for this another currency.
Mhm.
So also, I mean, I'm not a big advocate of just thinking, or like try to think in sats alone, but like
Okay.
treat Bitcoin or sats like like another currency that you're gonna be get familiar with, with time,
Mhm.
and try to price stuff or think like if things can be priced in sats. And then when you use a Bitcoin, and how easy actually is to transact either on chain or Lightning Network, you start getting the actual sense of how Bitcoin works. Because honestly, it's not that easy to explain it.
Yeah.
That because it's numbers, dollars are also numbers. We always use numbers, but there are so many things that are playing into Bitcoin that makes it hard to grasp.
Mhm.
Still, we don't actually have overall usage of Bitcoin around, so it's really hard to grasp what's the price of something in sats. So yeah, let's say I'm more of an advocate of playing with the idea of pricing stuff in sats.
Yeah.
and when you play around, it's like when you have a video game or a game like chess or any kind of game, football, baseball,
Mhm.
that you like, you learn it very fast, and you
Yeah.
make it natural in yourself. Like people who like football, that they know everything about. I mean, I'm not that into football, but my brother is, or my family is, and many people are like, sometimes like, okay, yeah, I don't know even how to speak about football, to be honest, because I'm not a big football fan, more than the World Cup or some other things that my brother explains to me.
Mhm.
But I see how much knowledge they have, or and stuff, or stats and things. And do you think they really spend so much time into learning, like in a sitting and studying? No, it came
Mm.
more like natural because it's a game. It's something that people enjoy. So the good thing of Thunder Games is that we have mobile games, casual mobile games, that people can, if you like solitaire, if you like the games we have, just to enjoy them. They are casual games, is games that you enjoy from time to time. You're going there, here and there, and you want to kill some time, and why not getting some Bitcoin back? And then you start getting the Bitcoin, getting the Sats, seeing how much is the price. You start getting the stuff. Usually in the beginning, people say, "No, this is too little. This is too whatever."
Oh
But
yeah.
then if they stay, yeah, yeah. But then if they stay, after all my time in being a community manager in Thunder, I started to realize that after a while, even the people who said in the beginning, "No, this is too little," and so on, they started understanding the actual value of Bitcoin,
Mhm.
and like appreciating each sat, and also start saving them. I'm very sure most of people who play Thunder games are saving these sats, which is great because Bitcoin is finally bringing the habit of saving again,
Mhm. Totally.
like
I'm
in the gold standard times.
Yeah, and that was also one of the benefits I see of sats, right? Like being able to get some rewards. Um
Yeah,
like playing Bitcoin games by like Thunder, for example, which I'm showing on the screen right now. We have 6 games. Um it's really cool because now, like, through this denomination, which is sats, it's so much easier for people to give out these rewards to incentivize people, and it makes Bitcoin more real to us. Um, and also it lets you see the power of of little, which is really good. I'm just really happy that SaaS just make it so much easier for people to understand. In my opinion, it's gonna take a while, not for sure.
yeah.
But yeah, it is quite good.
There are some people desperate. I don't know. I think they want Bitcoin to quote unquote succeed now, but this is a
Patient,
personal
right?
take. Even most people in my country, in Venezuela, who has suffered a lot of hyperinflation stuff, they are
Mm-hmm.
not into Bitcoin. So
Yeah.
imagine in places that they are not as bad. So it's gonna take time. And sadly, I have the idea that with some pain is that we learn. Is that we learn. It's like because we tend to no, we don't tend. We love to stay in the comfort zones because who wants to be uncomfortable all the time? I mean, you will be unhappy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But with this kind of stuff, like inflation or taxation too high and stuff like that, you're gonna start like appreciating your own labor, your own time, this kind of stuff that now with Bitcoin is a system that actually can give you like an anchor, like, okay, I made this, I can spend better.
Mm.
I have to run when you realize that, okay, and sometimes people don't realize that, okay, I'm going to spend the money because this money is going to be worthless in 3 months. You get used to it. It's a habit, it's a manner, is what's going on, is what you have always lived. So you don't actually take so much appreciation of money. You just take the appreciation of getting money and spending the money. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
fine if you get Bitcoin, you work for it, and then you spend it like in a rap song. It's okay, but at least like you value it, and then you're like, okay, I'm gonna spend it like there is no tomorrow in this situation. But you are not conditioned that much into this invisible for someone who is not that much into Bitcoin, into this fiat stuff, like this conditioning that inflation brings,
Mm-hmm.
for example.
True.
Sorry, I get to carry it away.
No, it makes
Um,
it
let's
makes the
continue.
conversation really good. So let me show this. We have a comment already. Really amazing conversation. So you're in the right
Wait, let me
direction.
move.
We
Let
are
me
in the
move
right
a little bit. I think I have some connection problems.
direction. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So
probably I was speaking. Oh yeah. Wait. Sorry.
no problem. So while
Yeah, I
Koty
think it's
is,
fine. Uh-huh.
yeah, it's so much better. So let me pull up the next thing that we have here. Are Bitcoin and Sats different coins? It's the same thing. It's just that Bitcoin is one whole coin and Sats are a fraction of a coin. Are there people who confuse Bitcoin and Sats?
Yes. A
Really?
lot, actually. I know
Oh
maybe
my
if
god.
Kryptonator is over here, he's gonna know because he's
Don't name drop. Don't name drop. Don't name
no, no,
drop.
no. He works with me. He works with me, and he has seen that so many people actually. This is something funny. Some people think mostly they are new, let's say, joiners into the space, and they have heard about cryptocurrency, and they think Sats is a crypto, and it's
Mhm.
basically worthless. And I'm like, bro,
What?
literally just multiply or like just check the price of Bitcoin in coin market cap or something. It's fine. That's it's a fraction of
Wow.
that. But
I
yes,
mean,
yes, we have people who think it's a different coin, which is a problem. That's why some people advocate on calling sats bitcoins,
yeah.
like the
Oh,
same fractions calling it Bitcoin. But that will bring kind of a mental gymnastics stuff and issue or the or dilemma of, do we have 21 million coins now or 21 quadrillion?
oh my gosh. There's a comment from Bobby. Let me just drop it below. So Bobby says there's especially the problem that people think Lightning is a different token than Bitcoin.
Ah, yeah,
Yo, I didn't know people thought that way.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so
Also,
real quick for people who think that way, how would you describe what Lightning is?
is that a question to me?
Yes, sir.
Uh, no, I thought it was like for Bob or something, like to
No,
drop a
no,
comment.
no. It was serious.
Um, how would I describe Lightning to someone new?
Mhm. Yep.
Well, Lightning is like a layer or a network built to make Bitcoin transactions faster.
Nice and
Just
simple.
when I explained that Bitcoin transaction on average they take 10 minutes to. I hate to use the word confirm because confirm what, six confirmations, confirm what, your transaction. Okay, fine. But no one goes to pay like, yes, my transaction is confirmed, because you don't see
Mhm.
the credit card or the debit card stuff. You just pay.
Yeah.
So it's like to make the payment real or meaningful, like to happen in the Bitcoin blockchain, it takes 10 minutes on average. So on Lightning is Bitcoin as well, just
Mhm.
faster.
Yeah.
Then, if they want to know, we don't have to say it's unannounced Bitcoin transactions and they keep a ledger and then they're gonna disclose when they close the channel. This kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be said. It's a
It's
layer to make
confusing.
Bitcoin transactions faster.
Yeah.
You
That's
don't.
the
We don't even
simplest
have to say
definition.
cheaper, just faster
It
to
can be
make it
cheaper.
more. Yeah, they can be cheaper, but the things like fees are variable. So it's better to use one thing. Like, I work as a waiter
Mhm.
and in a high end restaurant. And the thing in high end restaurant, basically, you are not a server, but you have to be a salesman. So
Mm.
in sellings, they train you to be basically a salesman. There is something called selling point. Like, this is the thing you're gonna repeat, 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 repeat for any kind of product we have with a guest to sell it.
Mhm.
If they're really interested, you go deeper into it. Like, for example, like with a bottle of wine, the selling point is that it's from maybe a specific region. If you want to sell a expensive bottle, and then
Mhm.
if he's interested, oh, okay, can you tell me? Then you go and start saying, no, this tastes like mushroom and shit, and stuff like that. So for Bitcoin, for Lightning, say is to make it more efficient, faster.
Mhm.
Then if people like are getting interest into it, you say, well, it also like it's on average as well is like cheaper. Basically, sometimes even almost close to zero fees. But that's you have to capture people attention with being efficient in when you want to really deliver a message,
Mhm.
just like that.
Mhm. Yeah, and then Kryptonator mentions uh, actually one really common use case of Lightning. So he said use Lightning for paying for coffee and supermarket and on-chain for preserving wealth.
Yeah, yeah, he's not wrong. I mean, basically, it's gonna be like that. Now people are saying like Lightning is for spending. That's like one of the latest slogans. And yes, you can see like a sovereign slash personal account Like Lightning is like a current account, and on chain could be like a savings account in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, we can
Yeah,
see it like
but you
so.
can
If
though.
you if and makes sense because if you're gonna use something for spending, it has to be efficient. You just want to go here
Fast.
and blah, spend it.
Boom. Boom.
Get rid of that money. Yeah.
All right. Then we have one last thing here in our THNDRversity section, and it says, "Who controls the network?" And the answer is simple, guys. No one. No one
Yeah.
controls the Bitcoin network. And why is that
This
important?
this part was it took me too long to write actually. I was how to put it in simple terms. You could
Oh
have
my
said
gosh,
nobody, but sounds better to say no one.
no one.
Yeah.
And why would you think that's important?
Yeah, because as I said in my example, like when you're coming from impoverished by politicians and let's say if external forces are against you or the population, uh, so you actually like what's really sad is that most of the time your survival or your well-being, at least the well-being, depends on the decisions and policies of someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that as we live in a society is like money is controlled by very few people, so they do in fact control. You can even look for the names and see who controls basically your life.
Yeah.
So having that in mind and the fact that they can control it and they can dispose of what you have and do with what they please in a very various degrees. So having a money that has no one in control gives you the freedom to provide for yourself, or at least like to take care of yourself outside of an external agent. That is
Mhm.
powerful,
Yeah,
and that's why it's important. And I left it like at the end of that introduction.
totally.
People will
And
say, yeah, people will say, yeah, so what? Maybe it's even better than to have a central bank and that someone controls it. I don't want to think of it. I just want to delegate my personal wealth and responsibility to someone else. Well, that's your decision. But the
that
good
is.
thing is that you can actually do that with Bitcoin as well. But at least you have the option to not
Mhm.
let someone else to control your money. At least you can be
Exactly.
controlled by force, but at least if you hide it well, you will have your money.
Then there's then we have Bobby here who says only by running a node you have true sovereignty.
Exactly. This is well. Now that he mentioned that, this is a bit more than an introduction. So to keep it to let people know that a node is a fancy word of a computer. A computer where you run a software like you run Windows or you run Paint or Spotify, any kind of software you run. Well, in Bitcoin, a node is a dedicated computer running the Bitcoin ledger, all the transactions that has ever happened and will happen. And by doing so, you can store your Bitcoin in your node. And if you have the seeds, which what we call seeds are a set of words, which is basically like a puzzle or a way of cipher a very long string of digits and numbers, digits and letters. Well, so you can protect your money that way. That's the actual way of protecting your own money and be, as Bobby well said, true sovereigns. Sovereign means that you are the ones who's taking care of your own life and wealth, because wealth is what gives you the material to do stuff.
Hmm. And then Kryptonator said something really cool. Are you ready to see it? He said, "Run a node and play Thunder games, guys."
Yeah, yeah. He's
So
not right.
true.
He's not wrong. Sorry, he's not wrong.
Play Thunder games.
Yeah, I mean, we here at Thunder Games, we're a company that makes mobile games, and our mission is, yes, to grow, to have players. I wish we could bring many different kind of mobile games at the same time, but the problem is bots, like and hackers and this kind of stuff. And Bitcoin is a honeypot, so we have to do tricks. We have to select which kind of games we can make. So because we're still new in this, like uh, technology, now that the technology that we use today, that it's very efficient, works very well. When it started was, small, insufficient, or like very little, very niche. So now we're having our games. Now we have 6 games
Yep.
and still working on more stuff. But the good things about Thunder Games is that you can use it if you're really into Bitcoin or learning more. Like keep stacking Sats or Bitcoin every day, and at the same time show it to your mom, to your dad, even to your grandma in a easy way. Instead
Yeah.
of spending so much time in a documentary that maybe they might not be interested, and you can be with a messy editor like, why they don't understand it? It's fine. Just show it the game and get them. This is some Bitcoin, some money. Keep it there. Let's keep do stuff.
And it's the best way to stack
Stay,
that.
yeah. Fulcrum said it well. Stack sats and stay humble.
Totally.
But don't be humble with the theaters. Never. But not with the central bankers, please. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. So with that note, I want to thank everyone for joining us on lesson one of introduction to Bitcoin. And
Yeah.
this was fun. I had loads of fun.
Yeah, me too. It was better than expected, actually. It was
Oh
like, what
yeah.
I'm going to say. I don't know.
I know, right? And
Yeah.
huge shout out to everyone who are watching us right now. We have people watching us on Noster, YouTube, and Twitter. So thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. I'm so happy that some people joined. This is the beginning. Let's see how it goes.
Woohoo! And please share it with your friends. The replays will be on YouTube. I heard Noster, like they have replays now, which is really cool. So
Nice.
watch the replay if you have to, and share it with your friends and family who you feel would really benefit from the information that we shared today. And yeah, see you in the next THNDRversity with
See
your
you guys.
lectures.
Keep studying. Keep stacking. Stay humble. Let's go.
Yeah, and join the Discord.
Yeah, please.
Join the
And also
Discord.
follow us on Twitter so we stay, in tune and in touch for more stuff.
Yes. Yes. All right, take care, guys. See ya.
Bye.